What's up, Hot Wheels racing fans? You're watching the NASCAR Nitro Series on the HSL Diecast Racing channel, and we're wrapping up the first leg of our Pennsylvania home stretch with the Owlman 400 Modifieds race, and it was wild in qualifying. A lot of drivers in the last chance races, and the stocks race had three big ones, but those three wrecks made up almost half of the DNFs. It's going to be confusing chaos racing. Some of the segments had one finisher, some of the segments had six. Who knows what's going to happen from segment to segment. It was even a back and forth dogfight for the pole position, which was won by Gaza over Burt Buzzard. Next to him, the 46 of Lord Raymond. Behind them, your points leader Clyde and J-Bo, team owner of Dog Squab Racing, the stocks of Lee Petty and Texas Terry, and finally Gray and Lord Shank, who got in the second chance races. And look at this, already side-by-side dogfighting on the very first lap. They are leaving nothing on the table already. Everybody's bunched up in the back after Lord Raymond and Gaza. Caution's out. We got ourselves a double DNF. Looks like it's Lord Shank and J-Bo. What a tough break for them as they get hauled off to the HSL junkyard. They were both on the up and up as well. 2 top 10s in the last 3 races. Horrible points day for both of them. And that cuts our field down by a quarter already. Lord Raymond put up one heck of a fight, but Gaza took back the lead on the inside lane on the second turn. Once again, Lord Raymond running away from the field. Caution's out. Lord Raymond's on his roof and out of the race. Looks like he took a couple of other cars out with him. Texas Terry bounces back onto wheels. That's Gaza. Lord Raymond and Gaza led the field down, dominated the first lap. Now halfway through, they're on their roof and out of the race. This is exactly what Clyde needed to have happen. He'll be leading the field, including 2 stocks, to the green after the halfway point. This is a dream scenario for your points leader who struggled in qualifying. And now the gates are down for lap number 3. And look at Lee Petty trying to fight for a spot in the top 48 in points. Remains in second place. This gets passed by Gray, fighting for second place with everything he's got. Takes it from Gray at the last second. Clyde throws a block to maintain the lead heading into the final lap. He's got a heavier pusher in Gray behind him. Lee Petty fighting for a spot in the top 48. If he doesn't make it in, his season's over. Lee Petty running away by 2 car lanes, but Clyde's 90-gram car actually gained speed in the split turn. He's running away from the rest of the field. Gray takes second place. Lee Petty to the third race, Texas Terry to the fourth. What an exciting first segment to get things kicked off. And now get a load of this. We have 7 wins in this segment. This is one stacked segment. Burt Buzzard and Gale Force on the front row. Behind them, Baby Richie and Chef Squid, Skeeter Davis and Sloppy Bear, Jimmy, your first ever winner on this channel, and Puff, who got in the last chance race. And look at this, Skeeter Davis running away from Baby Richie by an entire track segment for lap number 1. Gale Force falls back to third. We got a car upside down on the track. Near the split turn, that is Sloppy Bear on his side and out of the race. A season of bad luck for him just continues further and further on. It is almost over for him, though. His teammate Gray onto the seconds race, though, won't finish any worse than 11th. Now the gates are down for lap number 2. Look at this display of raw power. Side by side, 5 cars in a pack. Heading into turn number 1, they fall into a single file line. Gale Force moves back up to second place. Puff goes from 6th to 3rd in 1 lap. I don't think we have any DNFs on this lap. He gains that ground strictly on speed, and I was wrong about the DNFs. We have another frequent flyer coming back to the junkyard. That is Chef Squid. Another terrible points day for him. He had a downward spiral on Sub 4 RA, a downward spiral on Lord Shank's channel, and I guess the name and number are just cursed. He hasn't been fired yet, but I got to see how many people sign up for the NASCAR Nitro Series next year. If there's less than 48, I'll be adding extra drivers to the home team to make it 48. The only 2 guaranteed rides are going to be Tristan and Johnson Jr., and that's because those are subscribers. And now it's time for lap number 3 of this segment. We're halfway through it already. And look at Skeeter Davis drives onto the outside lane. I don't know what the heck he's doing driving off of the track like that. That's not even part of the track. Burt Buzzard runs away with it. Everyone else gets bunched up in the middle of turn number 2. Let's see where everyone else ended up. I saw somebody flip. That was Gale Force. Caution's out. Gale Force is on her roof and out of the race. And let's see where Skeeter Davis went. Yep, he won't be getting a top 10 in the mods race today. He's on his side in the outfield. Both of them are getting taken to the HSL junkyard. They're going to join J-Bo and Gaza, Gale Force's teammate. Absolutely disastrous day for the Barora Bangers. Gale Force was looking to at least get into the seconds race, if not the main event. That leaves Burt Buzzard with a 90-gram pusher for the final lap. And the gates are down. Look at Jimmy Johnson in the flea market stock running away from Burt Buzzard. Burt catches up in the final turn. Puff tries to make a move on him. Burt Buzzard runs away by 2 track segments. Jimmy throws a block on Puff to get himself into the seconds race. He hasn't started a mods race at all, trying to get himself into the top 48 in one race on his own. Going to be a tough task, especially with guys like Morgan Shepherd there, who's starting on the inside, a decent starting spot for a stock. And he's got some pretty fast cars ahead of him too. Harry Hoon for Cut Rock Creek Racing, your Daytona 500 and Southern 400 winner, Heather. Giorgio finding some speed in the second half of the season. And look at the outside row, running away, cautions out. Heather, overturn in the split turn. Giorgio gets tossed off the track by Baby Richie and Morgan Shepherd. Cautions out. Triple DNF. We got ourselves a big one. Yep, that's Heather, Big Play, and Giorgio. All 3 of them headed to the HSL junkyard. Terrible points day for all 3 of them. Triple DNF on the very first lap. These first lap DNFs are an absolute killer in the points. Heather will need a miracle to get back into the top 10. Giorgio likewise to get into the top 20. Look at this. For lap number 2, we got an extra pusher on the inside lane. But it doesn't matter because Harry Hoon stalls his car. He gets it going. But it's going to be tough to catch Riot Isaac. Harry Hoon moving in on the inside. Catches Riot Isaac's back bumper. He throws a block. Riot Isaac leads lap number 2. Harry solidly in second place. Morgan Shepherd in third. His teammate Sparky Racer draws up fourth. Let's see where Chase Elliott landed. He binned it in the middle of the split turn. That's a DNF for him. Now we're past the halfway point and only half the field is left. Riot Isaac stalls. Harry Hoon running away with a 5-car length lead over Sparky Racer. Harry Hoon drops to the bottom of the track, turns over in the middle of the split turn, tries to get himself turned right side up at the top of the track. It doesn't work for him. Cautions out. Harry Hoon once more turns over late in the segment after having a ticket to the main event seemingly punched. Sparky Racer's going to lead him down to the green for the final lap. Riot Isaac. He's lucky that this wasn't the final lap that he stalled on because that would have counted as a DNF. He would have been joining Harry Hoon in the HSL junkyard here. But as of right now, he's starting second next to Sparky Racer. It's going to be tough for Riot Isaac to beat Sparky with a teammate pushing on the inside lane. He's all by himself on the outside. Both of those cars, though, they're both heavyweights, soon to be banned next year. It looks like Sparky Racer's going to take it, barring a late mistake. They're both flawless through the turns. Sparky Racer running away with it by almost half a track segment. Sparky Racer to his first career main event. Riot Isaac to the seconds race. Congratulations, Mark Russell, for your first modified main event. I doubt we're going to see a first-time main event driver from this segment, as all the mods except Christie's been to the main event. And so has Far Out Jay. He made the main event in the Coca-Cola 600. Lucky Jackson's your pole sitter, still looking for his first career win. Will he get it today? He'll have to go through the Owlman, this race's namesake, as well as the Uncle Elvis teammates of William and Bobby Allison. When the gates are down, William gets a great jump at the start. Lucky Jackson passes him in between turns 1 and 2, takes a half a track segment lead over William for the first lap. Owlman stays in third. Cautions out. We got our first El Recco of the segment. It's Isaac, your stock race winner. He's not going to have the weekend sweep today. That's a first lap DNF. His season's probably over in the mods. Not so much movement among the other drivers besides that. Lucky Jackson holds on to the lead. But look at this. He gets undercut at the start gate. Lucky Jackson riding other cars all the way down the track. Miraculously lands on his wheels after they toss him off in the split turn. Williams going to take lap number 2 over Owlman. Far Out Jay moves up to third. Lucky Jackson dead in the water halfway through the segment. We'll be starting on the outside without any pushers in 6th place. Christy was on her roof. Another DNF for her. Here's a replay of the incident as she gets taken to the HSL junkyard. You can see Lucky Jackson riding the roofs of Owlman and Pantone. Meanwhile, you have Christy driving in a straight line into the turn. What a strange lap that was. Now let's see if lap number 3 can be a little bit more normal. And look at that jump that Owlman got. Owlman flying away from the rest of the pack. 2 car lengths over second place. They bunch up behind him. Cars are smacking each other. Pantone gets shoved off the track. Somehow nobody's on their roof. Lucky Jackson moves up from last to second. It's not over for him yet. Him and the Owlman will be leading the front row down. Far Out Jay on the inside. William in the second row on the outside doing the pushing. Bobby Allison's been quiet all segment. Let's see if he's got anything. And Lucky Jackson flying away from the rest of the field just like the Owlman on the last lap. Owlman catches up to his back bumper, tries to make a move, but it's not going to be enough. Lucky Jackson to the main event. Owlman, in his race's namesake, goes into the seconds race. He won't have a finish worse than 11th. Pantone heading off to the HSL junkyard as the outer split lanes latest casualty. And now we're going to take a look 2 laps ago back at the move of the race. Pay attention to Lucky Jackson on the outside lane, currently running third. flips Pantone on his roof. And then coming out of turns 2 and 3, pinches a hard-charging William into the wall, causes him to lose third place as he sets himself up to overtake the Owlman the next lap at his home track. Excellent driving by Lucky Jackson there. And now let's see if our fifth and final segment can provide similar fireworks. On the pole for this segment is Po' Boy. And then it's chock full of stocks. 2 stocks from Puff, 1 from myself. Then the heavyweights of Mike Honcho and Misty G round out the rest of the field. Actually, Puff's got 3 cars, 2 of his stocks and Misty G. And now the gates are on. Look at that jump that Bill Z. Bub gets on the rest of the field. Pushed by that 90-gram Misty G and Mike Honcho. Cautions out. He bins it in the second turn. Everyone gets caught behind him. Po' Boy was left for dead at the start. Flies through the wreckage. Only driver to finish the lap. What an insane first lap. Here we got to show you the replay of this. Bill Z. Bub out of the sight of the camera. Takes the outside split turn with way too much speed. Ends up on his roof. Collects the whole field behind him. And look at Po' Boy just slice through all the chaos like a knife through butter. The only one to fully escape it. Takes that lap by 2 track segments plus. There's Mike Honcho and Bill Z. Bub being transported to the HSL junkyard. Now half the field left with these 2 guys out is stocks. That means Bill's teammate Charlie Verney's got a good chance to get into at least the seconds race and compete for that first career top 10. And would you look at that, Charlie Verney gets a push from Gale, one of the heaviest stocks, takes the lead from Po' Boy, who falls back to third. Po' Boy and Charlie Verney battling it out. Charlie Verney throws a 90-degree block, gets turned around by Po' Boy. It's a drag race to the finish line. It's so close I couldn't even tell fully zoomed out. Gale's on her roof. Let's not worry about that for now. Let's take a look at the finish, and it looks like Charlie Verney barely gets it by literally a millimeter. Heading past the halfway point of the segment, Charlie Verney holds on to that first place using that same Pontiac Grand Prix casting as Po' Boy. I know I said in the last video Po' Boy drives a Monte Carlo. He doesn't. He drives a Pontiac. And so does Charlie Verney, who spins his back tires for lap number 3. Cars fall behind Po' Boy and Misty G in third place. Po' Boy takes it by a track segment over Misty G. He'll lead the field down to the start for the final lap. Misty G moves up to second place as we send out the tow truck to clean up Gale's mess. Now she's going to have to watch her satellite teammate try to take the win from the HSL junkyard. Misty G got in on a technicality because there was only one finisher in one of the second chance races, and now has the lead heading into the turns for the final lap. Po' Boy side by side with Misty G, throws a block coming out of the turns. It's going to be Po' Boy to the main event. Misty G throws a block on Charlie Verney and the rest of the field to hold on to second place and move on to the seconds race, all the way up from starting dead last in 40th on a technicality. What wild segment racing we had. Now it's time for the placement racing, and it's time for your 4th and 5th race. On the front row, we have William and Baby Richie, Charlie Verney and Texas Terry, the stock of Lunatic Alicia and Bobby Allison, and the outside lane goes flying away. Leaves William and company behind in the dust. When you have Baby Richie leading the pack, he wants to move further on. He's not happy he's in the 4th race. He'll be starting with the advantage on the inside front row. Texas Terry in the stock moves all the way up to second place. William falls back to third. And look at that, it's Alicia Lunatic still in the start gate. She started that last lap on the back row. Must not have had enough speed before I put the starting gate back into place. And the gates are down. It's Texas Terry Labonte. Gets a push from Charlie Verney heading into the split turn. They handle that upper split turn like professionals. Baby Richie trying to make a move on Texas Terry. It's not going to work. Texas Terry Labonte in the stock moves on to the thirds race. Got a top 10 in the stocks race. Beats a mods race winner in a placement race, all the while being held together with super glue. He has clinched comeback driver of the year for the stock division. And now take a look at the thirds race. Elton Sawyer running away with the first lap, being part of a drafting pack with his teammate Texas Terry. Morgan Shepherd takes the first lap of the thirds race. And all but one driver in this thirds race is a stock. And the lone mod in this race, of course, is Puff. And Morgan Shepherd stalls out on the start gate. And that leaves Far Out Jay to run away with this as long as he survives the split turn. He does. Far Out Jay. A full track segment ahead of Tristan Racewelski. He moves on to the seconds race. A great showing for a lot of these stocks who are battling for a spot in the top 48 in points. Driving cautiously while everyone wrecked around him. Congratulations to all the stock drivers. Did very well in this race. And now it's time for the seconds race. Leading the field down is the Owlman. Next to him, Riot Isaac. Behind him, Gray. The stock of Jimmy Johnson. Misty G, who started dead last on a technicality, and Far Out Jay, your stocks race winner. And look at this. Gray drives right underneath the Owlman to pass him for the lead. Owlman gets tossed off the track, collects Misty G with him. We got to show you this on the replay. That was an epic drive by Gray. Leads that lap by 2 whole track segments. He'll be in the driver's seat for the final lap of this seconds race. And if you look right here, Owlman with a car length lead stalls in the middle of the split turn, and look at that. Gray just plows underneath, and we're going to show you this close up. What an epic punt by Gray. Props to the Owlman for staying on his wheels. When I said earlier, Lucky Jackson and Po' Boy, their moves of the race, Gray's got them at least equal. You tell me which one of those moves was your favorite. Gates are down. Gray in the lead here. Get a push from Jimmy Johnson, flying away from the rest of the field. They're in a single file line. This lap much less eventful. Gray, what a gutsy move on the last lap to move himself into the main event. And hats off to Misty G as well. 8th place after starting in dead last. And the Owlman rounding out the top 10 in his race. But enough about these guys. Now it's time for the main event. On the front row, we have Burt Buzzard going up against Lucky Jackson with Po' Boy and your points leader Clyde in the second row. Sparky Racer and Gray, after that epic move in the seconds race, finishes out your main event. The gates are down. Lucky Jackson and Burt Buzzard side by side. Burt takes the lead in the turn. And look at this, Po' Boy making a push for the early lead. Not quite enough to get around Burt Buzzard this lap. Let's see what he can do on lap number 2. Gray gets left behind in the dust, still on his wheels though, looking for his first career top 5 finish. But does anybody have anything for Burt Buzzard? He's been the fastest car all weekend, except in that dogfight for the pole. There's no Gaza in this main event. Lap number 2, more of the same. Burt Buzzard running away with it. It's a battle for second place between the 2 Po' Boy racing drivers of Po' Boy and his employee Lucky Jackson. This time Po' Boy gets the advantage. Gray once again beached on the guardrails, but thankfully still on his wheels. 2 laps to go. It's Po' Boy Racing versus Burt Buzzard. Does either of these guys have anything for him? Is it going to be Clyde or Sparky Racer or Gray? Pulls off the upset. Gates are down. This time Po' Boy takes the lead on the outside, but Burt Buzzard with that T-Bird stock. They don't lose as much speed in the split turns as other castings. Once again, Po' Boy in second place heading into the final lap. Do they have anything for Burt Buzzard? It's been total domination in this main event as opposed to the segments where it was chaos, clean racing, and domination by Burt Buzzard for the first 3 laps. Does anybody have anything else for him? It's Hail Mary time. The gates are down for the final lap. Po' Boy once again with a slight lead heading into the turns. Lucky Jackson with a burst of speed on the inside tries to make a move. Burt Buzzard throws the perfect block. Burt Buzzard wins a record 3rd NASCAR Nitro Series race. The Po' Boy Racing teammates will round out the podium. Sparky Racer in 4th, a career best for him. And it looks like Clyde is on his side. Gray, his first career top 5 as well. Congratulations to all these guys in the main event, and especially to Mark D of Cut Rock Creek Racing. Burt Buzzard's your race winner. That car is absolutely fast as lightning. Congratulations to Po' Boy getting both of your cars on the podium. Lucky Jackson now with 3 second-place finishes. Congratulations to Sloppy Bear and Mark Racel, your first career modified top 5s. What an exciting race all the way around. Let's take a look at the final full results. Burt Buzzard, Lucky Jackson, and Po' Boy, of course, your podium. Sparky Racer and Gray, great showings for both of those guys. Gray should be back in the top 5 in points again with that finish. If not, he'll be very close. Clyde, who you could see on his side in the corner of the last lap, has made up your main event. Jimmy Johnson in a flea market car making his modified debut, trying to get into the top 48 in points. Somehow came away with 7th place there. Misty G, Riot Isaac, and the Owlman make up your top 10. Great points days for all of these guys. Now let's take a look at 11 through 25. Far Out J rounds out your seconds race. Tristan Racewelski, Morgan Shepard, Puff, and Lee Petty's your top 15. A lot of great drives by these stocks trying to break into or maintain hold of a spot in the top 48. As only the top 48 drivers in points will travel to Philadelphia for the Flyers hockey run. And if you look further down the list, there's William in 21st, your highest finishing finisher. Pantoni in 22nd, your highest finishing El Recco. That means we had 19 DNFs throughout the course of segment racing. A little more than I had wished for. I like having between 10 and 15 just so there's some action. The segments aren't too predictable, but there's not a total wreck fest. But if you look here, there's a lot of big names that were part of those DNFs. If Chase Elliott DNF, he drives the stock of William, the stock's points leader. Jabo, Heather, Lord Raymond, your stock winner Isaac, all didn't do very good this time. Did not have good points days, and it shows Lord Raymond falls to 10th. But would you look at the top of the list here? We got our first points lead change in a long time. Burt Buzzard now has a 32-point lead over Clyde with 2 races left to go. Lucky Jackson 125 points out in third. And Puff is up to fourth, another 170 points out of third. Gale Force Gray, Misty G, Gaza Po'boy, and Lord Raymond make up your top 10. And here we have 11 through 24, the front end of the Hobby Lobby carrying case. I store these cars in when they're not racing. You can get them for $10 at Hobby Lobby. They're a great value. They hold 48 cars apiece. Harry Hoon in 11th. Heather falls out of the top 10 in 12. I don't think she was in there before, but she's got a long way to climb back into the top 10. Bobby Allison, Raya Isaac, and J-Bo all the way down to 15th. And meanwhile, here is the rest of your top 48 in points. All your full-time drivers are safe, even guys like Chef Squid and Go Birds drivers that race every other race. Let's see, Far Out Jay, I knew he was going to be safe before then. Coffee Tart, Crazy Ruby, Lee Petty came into this race in 50th, moved up a bunch of spots with his top 15 finish. Rusty Wallace, Johnson Jr., Tyler Bloodfish, the only flea market car to make it into the top 48. Jimmy Johnson, 49th in points. He needed more points than I remembered. A second place finish to get a tiebreaker with Rowan. Gail is out after her DNF. So is Isaac after a golden opportunity after winning the stocks race. Somehow Vinny Nightlife has modified points. Nessa Force clinches last place, 65th in points with 43, based on finishing 39th in her only modified start. And now the 2025 season is winding to a close. Some of you may see your cars back before my next video is up. And once you guys start seeing your cars back, that means signups for the 2026 season are going to be up on redlinederby.com. Once it's up, I have a link to the Redline Derby sign up with all the rules in both the screen and the description of those videos. But basically the rules are it has to have been used in NASCAR, no Fox Body Mustangs, no number 666. It's got to be 70 grams. If it's more than 70 grams, I'm going to be surgically removing some of the weight before the cars race. That's basically all the rules. If you're not a member of Redline Derby, you can join or just message me on Instagram. There's a link to that in the comments as well. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you out there on the track.